What is up? We got our light chucking coffee mug full of coffee, actually. So I probably won't sleep well tonight because I've been drinking coffee all day for no reason. We'll get some people in here. We'll do some year-end reports. So, I don't know if anybody will come in here, but hey, we'll try it. We'll try it. If not, oh well, sucks to be you. There we go. All right. Get some people in here. Share this video out. We're going to do some year-end numbers. Yeah. Got one thumbs up. Thank you, whoever did that. Evening, Stephen All. Says Nomadic Brit. We got Jonathan Wheeler, Stuart Warby. Jonathan Wheeler is first. You were first. Nomadic Brit. Good evening. I almost say good morning because I'm used to going live in the morning. Except for my weekend live, which sometimes those are in the morning, but I have my expenses. Now, I could go on Truck and Office and do the whole ScreenYard thing. However, I'm dumb, and I don't know if I would accidentally show my address and all that crap. So I didn't want all the information out there. So to be safe, I printed it out, which always have a printout of your profit and loss. I got my profit and loss. Now, here's the rules. Yes, there are rules. I will not tell you my gross. And here's why. Because when you share gross numbers, it gives a false impression. Okay? It gives a false impression that you made money or you didn't make money. And here's what I'm talking about. So you have people that will say you can make $300,000 as an owner operator, in a year. Which that is true. However, it's not what you make, it's what you spend, right? I know people that, and that's easily forgotten, right? And so it does no good. I could tell you that I made $600,000 this year. It doesn't mean anything if I only took home $50,000, right? So, and now that's not the case. Obviously there's an issue there, but there's a lot of businesses out there that you would make those huge numbers, and only take home or break even, right? That's what running a business is. You can talk gross numbers all you want. I know a local bar here in town that makes $250,000 a year, but what do they net? Or I think maybe they made $1 million a year, but they only netted like a quarter of that. So the gross doesn't matter. Okay, it matters, but it doesn't. And so to sit there and have your gross numbers might give a false sense of what you can really make, because it's not what you make, it's what you spend. And that's the part that needs to be, that's the story that needs to be told. And that's the story I want to tell you guys. So we've only got 12 people in here, so that's beautiful. That's awesome. So maybe I shouldn't have done this live. But we'll get some more people in here. Share this out. Get some people in here. Maybe we can get our numbers up. I don't believe I was live this morning. Was I live this morning? And once, because I'm going to have to say this stuff like twice. So anyways, we got 2 Brits in here, so that's kind of interesting. Haggy, what's up? I saw you sneak in here. It seems like when we use the StreamYard, we get some trolls, so we took them out. Pale Rider TV, what's up? How's it going? Let's do this here. Let's make Mr. Britt a moderator. So you have the Power of Blue. Desert Oaky Pam, good evening. How's your deal going? I know that you were working on getting a truck. I know that this is the target time of the year to get it. So, so hopefully that's all well and good. We might just have to make this a recorded video later. Cool Trucking, hello, Mr. Snore, what's up? Oh, here's some news that we can talk about before we get everybody in here. I got the truck running. So I went out this morning. Truman, whatever, or whatever. Truman, how's it going? Good evening. 5 miles done. Excellent. Excellent. So here's the deal. I got the truck. So I went ahead and started the truck this morning. It got about 34 degrees, so it got above freezing. So I went ahead and started it. It barely started, like room. I'm like, cool. So I bumped up the idle to about 1100 miles, 1100 RPMs, and let it sit there to get up to about 190 on the temperature. And I let it run probably for about an hour, idled in the front of the house here. And everything looked good. Everything seemed good. No lights came on. Filter seems to be doing all right. So we were good there. And then I went ahead and someone suggested to me. Now, I didn't know this with the carrier. I don't know if you do this with them thermo crap things. But I went yesterday when I went to start the APU, it would like glug, 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 glug. It just wouldn't turn over. So like if you're trying to start your car, you can hold the ignition down until that thing starts, right? Well, I didn't know that you could do that with an APU. So it was told to me by two people, both Cascade, who's had that going on, and then Provost Motorsports, that you can hold the on-off button on the APU, and it's like the same thing. So I did that after I shut the truck off, and sure enough, fired right up. Smoked for a little bit, but it did its job. So I let that run for about, I don't know, close to 2 hours. And so everything cycled in there pretty good. And then I went ahead and set the voltage to 12.5, so it should come on more often. Now, one of the things I don't like about my truck is I do not have a block heater, so that's kind of annoying. But that's where the APU comes in, and so we are good to go. So the APU should come on more often, and then if I'm still home on Thursday, which I'm going to be trying to run a few loads this week, I will have the APU on that night. So because it's supposed to get down to 9 degrees again, Kansas City is supposed to be a bunch of snow. So I have something going on Saturday, and then I have something going on Tuesday, and then Tuesday it'll be working on like trucking stuff outside of the truck. So, but here, let's do this. Truck delivery pushed back to sometime in the first quarter. Ouch. Will be a 2023 instead of a 22, and a $3,500 materials upcharge. Was told a lot of orders were canceled. Luckily, mine was not. Pam, I was afraid of that for you. I was afraid of that. So, interesting how they had to upcharge. It just shows you that, I don't know. To me, it's like, hey, look, we're having to push your order. just be lucky that you're getting it. So we're going to charge you this $3,500. So to me, that's a bunch of crap. But at the same time, you do have to count your blessings, and the blessings is that you're getting a truck. So hey, now we're getting some people in. Josh the Vegan, how's it going? Truck Diver, good evening, Lord of Snore. Henry Duncan, hello, Caveman, hello to you. Other trucker James Best is risen from the dead. Haven't seen you in a minute. Let's see. Do you care about diesel because of freezing? Oh, do you care about bad diesel because of freezing? Yeah, I mean, diesel gelling is a problem, right? But what really can screw things up is if your filter gets frozen. So that's when it turns kind of waxy, and then you got to trash the filter. So yeah, we're, when it gets down that low, that's why we treat our diesel. Now, a lot of people say, well, I've never treated diesel, blah, 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 blah. And that's fine. But if you're constantly running, if you're driving a lot, then you probably don't have to, unless your tanks are exposed. Like if you don't have the fairings over the tanks like some older trucks do, depending on the temperature, you want to put treatment in. I mean, that's just, now you got to be careful of the treatment. You don't want to overdo it. You want to make sure that it's not a treatment that will void your warranty on whatever engine repairs and all that. So, but yeah, the cold, look, I don't mind driving in snow, right? I know how to handle that. It's when it turns bitterly cold, like in the sub-zero temperatures, that's when I'm like, I'm over it, because metal becomes brittle at those temperatures, hoses become brittle at those temperatures, air leaks become prominent. I mean, I don't use plastic airlines because I can't tell you how many times I tried to unhook an airline that was frozen on a trailer, and I end up breaking the line. So we always go with rubber. There's if you don't have an APU, you're idling your truck, so now you're idling more, so more wear and tear on your engine, burning more fuel. It's like a 10-hour break. You'll go through 10 gallons of fuel. That's, depending on price of fuel, that's anywhere from $30 to $40 a night just to idle. So that takes away from your net. So, you may not profit as much. You may not net as much if you're having to idle your truck all the time. And also, you're going to go through more DPF filters. You're going to go through more fuel. You're going to go through more DEF. You're going to go through more regens, which is, so it just adds to the expenses, which is what this video is about. If you wanted to lease onto my company, I could give you a $10 million sign-on bonus, right? Yeah, I don't see that happening, because I would just take the sign-on bonus and run one load a year. So there you go. Six Semper Tyrannus, what's up? So we're getting some people in here, so we can start going over numbers. Now, again, I'm not going to go over my gross numbers. I'm going to go over what I spent, because that's the important part that you need to hear. Because, when you start talking about gross numbers, you start talking about, you're measuring dick sizes, right? Well, I made more money than you, because, again, my needs are different. My business is different. My income streams are different. I don't have to run, but I can tell you guys how many miles I ran and what my average load paid per load. So I can tell you that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Best. You agree. Shannon, what's up? Good evening. Because and James, I don't know if you were in here in the beginning, but what I was telling people is that gross numbers give you a false representation of how good a company is doing. And again, if you don't believe me, go watch an episode of Shark Tank. When they do their spiel, they do their spiel to sell what their product is and all that. The first thing that usually what the sharks ask for is what are your sales, what's your net, what's your gross, what have you brought home, what are you taking, what's your salary, how many investors, stuff like that. And I can't tell you at times how many people said, oh, we made $1 million in sales, and then, okay, what you profit? Zero. So obviously there's an issue there, right? So I don't want to give you gross numbers, because gross numbers give you a false representation of what's really going on in a business. I can sit there and tell you I grossed $1 million, but what good is that if you don't know that I spent $900,000 on expenses, distribution, stuff like that? So at least I got the order in before the big price increases. Yep, absolutely, says James Fast. All right. So without further ado, let me do one more thing. Let's get Truck and Office on in here. I did print out my profit loss, but I did not write down the miles of what I did. So bear with me. Talk among yourselves. Call me names. Do whatever you want to do. All right. Go to reports. Company overview. That's the one. All right. Generate report. Okay. All right. So here's the first number. All right. Yes, gross numbers are too advertised on YouTube. I just shake my head because I know the real math. I worry about those guys. And that's why I'm not giving you guys gross numbers. I will, however, give you my expenses and what I averaged, okay? All right, so as of December 31st, from January 1st to December 31st, I drove a total of, you guys are going to laugh, I drove a total of 41,270 miles. I know people that drove 140,000 this year. Okay. I know people that have done literally 80 to 100% more than what I did. You can laugh all you want, right? I'm going to highlight Shannon's comment here. My average miles per load was 307.99 miles. That is the master of being the short game, okay? The highest miles per load average was back in July, and that was an average of 409 miles per load. Actually, no, I'm sorry, 446 miles per load. That was back in September. Kind of kicked it up a notch this September. Okay. All right. Would you guys like to know my revenue per load or per loaded mile? My year-end average for revenue per loaded mile was $3.58 a mile. Now this is all, oh, that's loaded miles. Okay, $3.58 a mile. I'm here. Start over. Hot seat. What's up? Don't you have to drive more than 40K to qualify for CDL? Yeah, you're funny. You're a funny guy. You are funny. Thomas Wilson did 66,000 miles in 2021. Okay. All right. Now, My average expense per mile was $1.75 a mile. That is not including home, but it's including everything else. Okay. All right. So you've had 84,000 miles since June 1st, right? So nothing when he says start over? No. No. All right. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 expense logs, expense lists. Now, we'll get into that, Shannon. Yes. Okay. All right. So $22.90, obviously that's going to be $550. Okay. APU maintenance and repair was $1,745.02. Accounting, my accountant. This is a cost that I will eliminate this year in 2022. And that was a total of $1,247.48. That's included of me getting my taxes done for 2021. Cell phone. This is one that surprises a lot of people. Okay. Cell phone is $3,647.31. Why is it so high? Because I have multiple lines. And I had to buy 2 new phones. And these aren't cheap. These aren't cheap, right? You did over 1 million miles. No, you didn't. No, you didn't, Jeff. I'm going to put that up there so everybody knows that you're a liar. All right. Clerical fees. Not sure what that is. I have to look at that. I believe that's like if I mail something or if I make photocopies, print stuff. If I have to go somewhere and get something printed because my printer's not working, things of that nature. I think that's what that is. DAT low board. I spent $755.40. You'll trade me cell phone bills? I know what you're dealing with. Thomas Wilson drives for free. Jeff gets the 12 phone discount, right? So $755 for low board. So that's what that is. I don't have the lowest line DAT board, but I don't have the highest line DAT board either. I have the 30-day average one, which seems to be about right. It gives me the trends that I need. It does what I need. And I might use it like half the time. I mean, I do use it, don't get me wrong, but I don't use it half the time. All right, this one's going to surprise you guys. We're going to play What Did I Spend, okay? What did I spend in DEF fluid at running at 41,000 miles? You offered me a 10 on. Yeah, well, I have this philosophy, truck diver, that if it's too good to be true, it probably is. If there's a big rate on it, there's probably a reason. So Hot seat, you are close, my friend. $630.43. That will be higher next year if I run the same exact miles this year, because one of the strategies is one of the places where I get fuel. It's kind of out of network, so it probably annoys Jeff because we don't get a discount there. However, my DEF it was literally, I was paying $2.86 a gallon up until about 2 months ago. Then it was still 30 cents below what Love's and Pilot and all them charge for it. You thought Jeff gave phones to his drivers? No, he didn't. Yeah, I do know your numbers, Thomas. Big Houston, you're way off on the DEF. Okay. DOT physical was 95.40. I have to get one every year, and it seems to go up every year. Now, what I have saved money on is you used to have to pay an extra $30 for them to read your little chip for the CPAP machine, little SD card. $30 to go, yep, there it is. And so now I just get a printout directly from the website, and that the machine sends onto a cloud every night or every morning. And so that saved me $30 a year. But you only get a 1-year card. I know one person that got a 2-year card with the CPAP, and I think that didn't go well for him the next renewal. So if you get a CPAP machine, you're probably only going to get a 1-year card. So, give or take $70 to $100 a year for that. All right. Now, with 41,000 miles, we'll round it up to 42 because it was 41 and change, right? What do you think my fuel cost was this year? And this is what's going to surprise many of you. TJ Jones, what's up? Happy birthday. I think it's your birthday today, right? I wish Mud Flat discounted DEF. Yeah. Thomas Wilson gets 3 miles per gallon. He includes the motorhome diesel, right? Lugnut, what's up? Yep, happy birthday. Everybody give TJ Jones a happy birthday horns, right? Give him that. So does anybody have a guess? No, Jeff, except Jeff. Look up how much I spent in fuel. Big Houston, you are off again. All right, Thomas Wilson. This is where running the short game gives you advantages, okay? And that's another reason why I'm not giving my gross numbers, is because I get paid extra to do extra duties for like trucking. And that's included in this as far as like gross revenue. So that's why I'm only going over net, not net revenue, but just my expenses, okay? Because you have to determine whether this is for you or not. Now, this number is very low compared to what I know what people spend, but I spent $19,523 in fuel in 2021. So DO, you were pretty close. Steve, when you lose weight, you'll be able to get rid of that CPAP machine. Not unless I get another sleep study. So, yep, Thomas Wilson agrees. Short game is the bomb.com. That's Thomas Wilson. 19,500. So yeah, you were right on the thing. Now, if the charge, I have spent, and I'm not sure if this is 100% accurate for some reason, but Jeff, maybe you can confirm this, but my if the charge this year was $55.04. So TC Boggs, no, you're a little off. Oh, we're getting 40 people in here now. All right. This is where we're going to get into the bigger numbers. Okay. IRP, that's your plate. Okay. And those of you who are like at Schneider, getting Schneider's plate, or Landstar, getting Landstar's plate, or whatever your carrier's plate is, pay attention to what they're charging you. Okay. Most states are going to be between $1,500 and $2,000, $1,500 to $2,000 a year on your plate. When I was at Schneider, I was paying an average of $1,950, I think, a year. Oops, that's screwed up. Wallace, you are not going to hear my net. Sorry. My IRP this year was $1,695.35. Good evening, Cascade. Like my sweatshirt? All right. So I saved money by doing it through Missouri on my own. So those of you at Schneider and Landstar, you own the truck. It's not a Schneider finance truck. Get your own plate. It allows you more freedom to just move the truck whenever you want, or if you decide to get your own authority, that's one less thing that you got to do. Get your own plate. Did you pay a lot for toll roads? We'll get to toll roads. I'm sorry, Wallace. I explained in the beginning why I'm not giving you my net, because people need to know my gross and net, because it's all about what expenses I paid, because that's the numbers everybody needs to know. So I can give you a profit per mile. I might do that. I know we're not measuring dicks but beards. You win every. I do hot seat. I do. But I'm glad to see your positivity, Wallace. All right. So insurance this year includes my physical damage for the trailer, bobtail liability for the truck, and occupational, which is a new expense this year. Jeff decided to do occupational. In Missouri, it's not required to have occupational by the way we were set up. So, but this year we decided to get it. That's a requirement for Jeff now. So just know that coming over here, that if you don't have your own occupational, we will supply it, and it's a pretty decent rate. And so so all insurances, and that's all lumped in, was $4,529.78. That was my expenses for insurance this year. The super chats for the net. Look at Jeff causing problems. Okay, so parking this year was $97. Yes, I do pay for parking. I've paid for parking in my own town. Now, I have since found hiding places in my town that are safer and free versus paying for something that a lot of the homeless, just a note, the Flying J in Springfield, Missouri has turned into a safe haven for the homeless out in the parking lot and also in the TV room. Just know that, okay? I've been approached many times. Pre-pass. I have pre-pass. That was $211.80. Now, here's the biggest expense of the year, okay? The biggest expense of the year. Repairs and maintenance. I lump those together. That's oil changes, filter changes, grease, everything. Not the supply fee, but like if someone gets under there and greases it for me. This is not including tires. That is a separate expense listed. Repairs and maintenance were at $20,355 this year. Which that's odd. It came out to an even number in no sense. That's interesting. So the 15 grand of the truck payments that would have happened this year that I did away with by paying the truck off early have reduced my expenses quite a bit. So now that $20,000 is not as big as a hit. James, you're funny. Yes. Now, Nomadic Brit talked about being at 40 grand for this year for that truck. So it could be a lot worse. And this year I anticipate turbo, DPF filter, brakes. So, James was 20,678, but I had a lot of trailer issues. Yes, that's true. And that's not including trailer maintenance. You guys are going to be shocked when I get to that. Okay. Trailer repair. All right. Scales, $49. Why is that so low? Well, because I have an onboard scale system. Well, if you have an onboard scale system, why do you have any scale tickets at all? Well, one of those scales is my empty weight. I have a copy of my empty weight. It's in my permit book. That way I can kind of do some math on the fly if needed, if I want to see if a load's doable or not. I can haul 47,000 pounds with a quarter tank of fuel. Have I done that? I've done it once. But every now and then you got to check the calibration of those scales, of those onboard scales, and that's where that money. And they keep increasing the price. They're up to $12.50 on the CAT scales now, so that's where that number comes in. That was actually a little bit higher than I thought, but I might average one scale a quarter, and then there's a couple of loads that were kind of close. So whenever I pick up a 45,000 pound load, I'm scaling it, just in case one of the gauges is off or I wasn't on perfectly level ground. I want to make sure you're right. Now, if it's 42,000, I'll do the scales on the truck and I won't even bat an eye. So, and that's what it's for. If you get close, go ahead and scale out the load. I know, James, your truck is a lot heavier than mine. I don't know if it's the stacks or what. That whole assembly in the back of your truck is a lot heavier than mine. We've talked about that. Siriusxm. This is another waste of money, I think. $273.19. That was lower last year because I called Sirius and said, hey, I'm poor. What can you do for me? And they made my bill $6 a month for about 6 months. So Wallace says, I would say don't anticipate and don't look for things that ain't broke. Do every 3-month DOT inspections. Wallace, I agree with that. And here at Like Trucking, that's a requirement. We do 90-day inspections. And that is a good habit. Whether you got your own authority, Landstar, I think it's every 120 days. But I highly recommend getting a DOT inspection every 90 days. Number one, you're always current. But number two, you're going to find some stuff that maybe you missed. And I do know that I'm probably getting close for brakes. So that's why. Now, turbo, it was suggested to me to preemptively do the turbo this year, and I don't know if I'm wanting to do that or not. It's a good suggestion maybe, but at the same time, I've often talked just let it break, But it just depends if it breaks and screws up the rest of the engine. It could be preventive, it could be not, but it could be a parts issue as well. So DIY, what's up? Good evening. And DIY, if you're just came in, I'm only doing my expenses. I'm not doing my gross or net. So, and then Cascade texted me. Cascade, this is going to be a solo video for now. 41. Let's highlight that. Where do you go for your inspections? I usually do it when I go to Kenworth to do the what do you call it? The oil change, the PM, right? I'll usually do it there. And then the trailer is usually done at either a local shop here in Springfield, or there's a local tire shop here in Springfield as well that I go to. I do not do DOT 90-day inspections on the road, especially when I was at Landstar, because Landstar, you can't leave the facility when you fail the test. Here, it's not a big deal, but it's I do it all locally. If the same people are looking at the same truck, it usually works better. Loves is the most honest. Yeah, and that's the other thing that you have to look at too is, you might have a shop that goes, oh yeah, your brakes are bad, you need new brakes. Well, I just got some last week. Oh, they're cracked, and all that. So honesty is a huge, huge deal. So I prefer to do shops here in town that work on my truck consistently. I go to mainly one place for tires when I do complete tire change outs, and they usually look at usually them or Kenworth does the DOT inspections. State property tax, that is a Missouri thing. That was $751.95, down $300 from 2 years ago. My truck to the state of Missouri is not worth as much as the trailer. The majority of that came from the trailer, believe it or not. So, and don't ask me how they determine those worths, but we are caught up. All right, supplies for truck. Supplies for truck. This includes antifreeze, additional fluids like anti-gel, glass cleaner, water. I'll do gallon water under that expense because I need it for my CPAP. I need distilled water. If I buy a headset, if I buy pens, if I buy paper, if I buy, because I use a lot of notebooks, if I buy a cell phone holder, anything like that, it goes under supplies. Antifreeze, I think I already mentioned that. That's all goes down there. And that was a total of $1,040.64. Excise tax, that might be called that somewhere else, but this is a property tax. Like, as a private citizen, we get taxed on like our cars, like our personal cars, and I have a couple of utility trailers. So that's another, but that's not in this. It's just for the business, right? So, but yes, that's on my truck and trailer. Clutch, steer brakes, trailer brakes, S-cams, the bushings, wheel seals, and the DPF filter were the big ticket stuff. Shocks, yep. You are late, but you're here, so I'm grateful for that. Pigtail. I live in PA. I thought they were way too much, but after research in other states, PA comes out cheaper all around. Yeah, you got to, Wallace, you got to do that. If you're an owner operator, you got to do that extra inspection for Pennsylvania, don't you? Just like Texas. Yeah, on all assessed value vehicle. Got it. Yeah, that's it. So, all right. So, I have tolls in 2 different categories. I have K-Tag, which covers Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. And then I have Riverlink, which carries all my easy passes, like Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Northeast, all of that. The only thing my passes don't cover is Florida. Isn't there a toll road in that weird state, Colorado? It doesn't cover those, but anywhere it says Easy Pass, that's Riverlink. So my K-Tag tolls this year, mind you, I go through Oklahoma a lot, is $676.25. And then my Riverlink, I think I hit I-80 in Illinois like twice. That was a total of $8.65. So I avoid toll roads as much as I can. Now, with that being said, there's been times like last year, I did go up to Pennsylvania. It was a light load, and I did take 76 all the way across to Reading. So that that's where the Riverlink tolls would come in. DIY, I'm going to highlight that. Actually, it is already highlighted. So you only have one toll bill. Oh, well, you never leave Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas. I do. I go, look, when I travel, I go down 70, I go down 40, and those don't have tolls. It's when you go east of Columbus, when you go east of New Stanton on Pennsylvania, you got 76. I don't travel 80-90 corridor too much where Ohio and Indiana, because those tolls are high, and those tolls are easy to get around, especially in that stretch of Ohio, Indiana. So when I do go north of 70 in Ohio, it's usually the state routes anyways. Now, Schneider, that was a different story. Schneider, I was probably going through $500 a year alone just on that toll road stretch. So it's just my freight doesn't carry me up there too much. Let's see. Trailer payment. I still have a trailer payment. That came out to a total of $7,496.88. So my trailer payments are $625, rounded, a month, which is really good. I bought it in 2018 at $30,000, and that trailer will be paid off this year. So there's that expense. All right, so trailer maintenance and repair. There's really not much to maintain on a trailer. You change out the glad hand air, the rubber thingies, but that's under supplies. $89.95, because the biggest trailer repair I've done was when I added the right way, and that was last year. Or the year before, I mean. So, and that was because one of this repair this year was because one of the pins came out. So when I was sliding the tandems. I paid $692 this whole year. In 6 months, I paid $2,600 in tolls. Wow. Last year in 6 months, I paid $2,600. Man. Now, Provost, he told me his tolls when he lived up in Jersey. Man, it's expensive to live up there. No, Houston, I did not. I did not get on any toll roads when we went up to Florida or down to Florida. All right, truck tire repair. I replaced all tires on the trailer. Sorry, this is trailer tire repair. And I've had some blowouts. And I got an extra rim, got extra tires, I got spares, That came out to $1,422.78. That's including all new tires. I did buy them. They're slightly used drives off of a friend of mine. That includes those, and then the mounting. And then, but we've had quite a few blowouts this year. Trailer tires go through a lot of damage. There's a lot of tight places I go to, and whenever you do these tight U-turns, you're going to wear out your tires more. Also, if you do a lot of short runs and you're doing a lot of backing, that wears out your trailer tires more versus just going down the road. The 80-90 killed me last year. Right, Cascade, which is why I'm very selective when I do Ohio runs. You know, James Best says, I spent a fortune on trailer tires, shocks, alignments, brakes, and bushings. Yep. And then John's had to spend a couple of bucks on that trailer as well. And now, truck tire repair. Got all new drives this year. And 2 sets of steers, I think. No, 1 set of steers. And I also bought 2 new rims. People ask me, why'd you buy new rims? Well, I bought 2 new front rims. So I just wanted to. Oh, and I also bought the Centromatics. Those were included this year. My truck tire repair bill has been $4,572.31. Now, that is an expense you're only going to go through every 2 or 3 years, depending on how much you drive. Trucking office. That's $346 for the year. Truck wash and washout. I've washed my truck twice this year. Actually, no, 3 times. I did get 1 wash at a discount. That came out to $195.89. I usually wash my truck once a quarter. Now, I did have the opportunity to wash it last week because it was 60 degrees. I do not wash my truck if it's below 40 degrees. So when all the salt and stuff gets on there, I try to pick a day where it's above freezing. And then Uber taxi, that's a category. That was $20.08. And that's basically whenever I needed an Uber to go from Kenworth to home. So, and that's been reduced because I have 3 people in this house that can pick me up if needed. But if I need to be picked up during work or school, then I have to get an Uber. Or if I got to go early to pick up my truck, I will use an Uber to get there. So if you guys have been tallying, my total expenses, this is the important number for you potential owner-operators, have been $72,000, $72,135.14. So let's type that in. So total is, I'm a slow typer. There you go. That was my total expenses for this year. Centromatics are for better tire wear. I will say anyone needs AP repair on your Evolution, go to Jane Street in Dallas and look for the Oriental. I think he's Japanese, but man, that was the best $900 I spent because he fixed everything. Good deal. If you can look, if you can find a good mechanic for your APU, that's that you can trust, that's the best thing. I have a great APU mechanic. The carrier had a hiccup yesterday, and it's working like a champ today. So I love my carrier. I have no idea, Rick. 72,000 just for the opportunity. So yeah, I mean, and look, some other people's expenses are going to be a lot higher. Maybe one day I will bring Cascade in here, and I'm not going to do it tonight, Cascade, but Richard, if you're watching, we will bring in and let you do your expenses. And any owner operator that wants to come in and do their gross and net numbers and expenses, and we'll do this live stream thing. You all right? you know, we'll and you don't have a YouTube channel, we'll bring you in. We'll let you share your numbers. Dennis Richardsville, you need a better plan. That one's expensive. That one's too expensive. Which plan is that? And no, it's not cheaper to own a McDonald's. But there is, and my costs are fairly low compared to a lot of other people's. The biggest ones were repairs and maintenance. So when you add, let's add tires and everything. So let's add everything together. So you have, let's add 2355, and James hates it when I do this, plus trailer 1422 equals that, plus 4572 on the truck, plus the trailer plus 90. So all in all, it's a total of $26,439 just for the privilege of owning a truck and trailer. And that's maintenance, repair, tires, everything. Now you're not going to buy tires every year. You're not going to buy, a rear differential every year, unless if you do, you're doing something wrong. Change something. But Wallace, I'm glad you think I'm funny. So $197 per day expense spread out over 365. So let's hot seat. You bring up a good point. So let's do that. So if I average 20 days a month, which is home every weekend, if you take 20 times 12, that gives you 240 days a year. So if you take that number, what was it? 20, we'll call it 27,000 divided by 240. That's $112.50 a day. Fixed and on just the truck, right? So if we take 72,135 divided by 240. So my cost per day on a 20-day month is $300. So for every load that I did for above that, that was profit. So that's how you have to look at it. And that's why this number is the most important number. Your gross and net is not as important as your expenses, right? So if I did that by 25 days a month, let's do that. 72,135 divided by 25 days a month. Oops, no, that's not it. 25 times 12. That's 300 days a year. So 72,135 divided by 300. That's $240 a day for each day that you work. Yep, that will be done this year, John, right? See, John, look, ATBS has, and I'm going to highlight this comment. ATBS has a bad rep, right? I've used them for a while, right? But their profit and loss system is if you're not sending them stuff, you can't see it. And they have a portal where you can see everything, but it's not updated. So whether you use ATBS or another accountant, you always want your own thing, like Trucking Office or Trucking Pro, to see where you're at all times. That's why I told you even pen and paper will be better than what you're doing now. SF Medic, my expenses were $2,000 on sushi. You spent $2,000 on sushi, Terry? That's funny. Now's the time to start your new software. Absolutely. January 1st. Because it makes it easy, right? Makes it easy. So, it's yeah. I know it was sarcasm, Terry. I'm not that much of an idiot. But are you talking about Hot Tea? Are you talking about Axis? That is a good system. But yeah, probably do too. That's funny. And look, that's the important number. So how many days now? If I only work 10 days a month, that number, now becomes 17 or no, I don't know. I keep 72 135 divided by 200. That's $360 a day. Okay, so that's what I mean. You got to have your costs down because, look, my time off has been because of downtime. $20,000 repaired doesn't happen overnight. I dealt with some stuff with family. We had a couple of major life events in this house that I had to be home for. I've had a lot of doctor's appointments on stuff, but downtime due to weather. I mean, I was down almost a month because I missed this window of opportunity to leave because I was dealing with family stuff back in February last year. So, if my numbers freak you out, then think about somebody who's got a Schneider Finance truck, paying $1,000 a week for that truck. If you take my 72, so let's do that. 72 135 divided by 12. My average monthly expenses is $6,011. So add another 5 to that, and even more so because my fuel would go up. Obviously your variables will differ. But that's the beauty of my short haul is it creates the biggest profit margin. I use ATBS, but I don't want to track this crap and do my own theft analysis. Plus, it's a right of it. It's easy. I'm not a computer nor tech savvy. And look, I don't blame you, Wallace. My first 2 years, I was the guy that had the box of receipts and like, oh, here you go. I was that guy, and I'm not saying that's what you are. I'm just saying that I definitely wanted some help. So here's the thing: if a person knows their weaknesses, if they like, let's say you're looking at this. You're like, okay, after Steve says he spent $72,000 for the privilege of freedom, notice I put quotes there. I still want to do this, but I'm horrible at tracking my expenses and software, and I'm not computer savvy. Then hire somebody to do it for you. If you don't know how to do your own taxes, hire somebody to do it for you. If you don't know how to change the turbo, hire somebody to do it for you. It's the same thing. And you just have to equate that expense and just put that in your business plan. Put that in in what you know to expect. Okay, been there, done that, but I know that's all right off to them. They now are 2,600 in the hole every week before they even start the week. And look, see, there you go. You got James Best. There's an opportunity. But part of that charge ATBS does, if you're doing the profit and loss, is they will do your taxes for that. So that's the other thing. So that includes, most of the time your accountant's going to charge you about the same, if not a little bit less, especially at tax time. So, but John, how about them Bengals? Yeah, I was talking to Big Rig CEO yesterday, and he's like, "Don't miss the game, Chiefs game. You know, it's playoffs, and they're playing the Bengals." And I didn't do what he said because I never do what Big Rig CEO says. And I went and checked the game, and they had lost by a field goal. They choked at the last minute, which is classic Chiefs. They'll have it good, and then they'll choke at the last minute. They've been doing that since Montana played that one year. So even Montana can escape that curse. But anyways, that's the end of the year numbers as far as what expenses were. Um, that is it. So if and so when I look at this list, what can I shave off? Well, I can definitely save on my accounting. Cell phone's going to be lower this year because the phones are paid off. Fuel's going to be higher, I bet, because of cost of fuel went up. And I would go to my other program to see what my fuel cost was last year. I guess I could have done that. What was my fuel last year? I believe I printed that out. I did. All right. So this is last year's P&L. So fuel last year was $19,849. It's almost identical. But here's the difference. I ran 64,000 miles last year. So I ran 20,000 miles less this year and paid the same in fuel. That's how much fuel has increased. So think about that for a second. Last year I had truck payments. $20,833 in truck payments. Truck was paid off early. And so that saved me 20 grand. My repairs was 20,000 last year as well. So I saved 20,000 on my on my truck expenses this year. So last year my expenses was $83,409. So I've decreased my expenses by 83,409. I decreased my expenses by $11,274. One-third increase. Yep. So my fuel was 30 cents a mile last year. So add 30% to that. $30 times 0.30 equals. I would love to talk to you all without freaking having to type. I hate typing. Well, one of these days we'll put a link. And Wallace, if you want to join in, you can. But we're not doing a link tonight. But yeah, you're looking at. So if I could do 20,000 more miles and have the same fuel bill as this year, that should tell you something. Now I know a guy that had literally $40,000 in fuel in 1 year. So, and your right foot is your best fuel savings. Now, We have a better discount this year, so that's part of it. That helped as well. But yeah, running less miles and having a better fuel discount. So that's where the short game wins again. It keeps your variables down as well. Is my fuel okay? Let's highlight because I'm still new to this crap. Is my fuel the highest or second highest? My highest expense was the truck, and fuel was the second. And trailer payment was third, and tires was fourth, and like insurance was fifth. So there you go. Okay, I get you're at home right now. The weather's good, man. Weather's it was nice, cold and clear this morning. It got up to 41 degrees. Tomorrow it'll get up to 45, and then the temperature is supposed to take a dump here on Thursday. So hopefully I'll be running a load or two at that point. This Tour Life, what's up? Cash is king. Hey now, what's up? I'm trying to think of ways to increase my fuel mileage. The right foot there. What do you mean increase your fuel mileage? Like you want higher? Like you want more miles per gallon? Is that what I mean, that's what everybody should be striving for. Your insurance seems like a good deal. Is that under like trucking or your own? It's under like. Now, this is the first year that everything was under like trucking. And of course, if those of you who know, we don't pay for our cargo liability that the carrier is charged. We're not charged for that. At least it's not itemized. It's in the 20% that Jeff takes. So I drove so slow, guys flipped me off. Well, look, your fuel mileage is going to be lower when you're running all over the place. Like, Cascade, he's all up in the Cascade Mountains, and he's going all over the place. He runs a lot. If you run a lot of Pacific Northwest or West in general, you're going to go through more fuel mileage. Your fuel mileage is going to go down. But like me, that's one of my advantages. I'm up and down 70. People make fun of me all the time. Oh, you don't go beyond a certain area. Well, one of the reasons is that take a heavy load from St. Louis to Columbus. It's nothing. There's no hills. If I do go to Pennsylvania, it's a light load. If I do go to Florida, it's usually a light load. Sometimes I'll take a heavy load. And once you get past Monteagle, Florida's flat. Georgia's not too bad. So I mean, it's a lot of it's where you run as well. Now, if you're always in Montana and Idaho and Washington, Oregon, yeah, your truck's going through a lot more torture than mine is. 80, 90, you'll get great fuel mileage, but you're going to pay out to tolls. And then Oregon's got its fuel tax, and then if you run a lot of Kentucky, that's going to cost you a little bit extra money. So I mean, every little bit counts, man. Every little bit thing is taken away, is adding to that. So my expenses are fairly low. Just know that. Last year they were 83,400, and this year and hopefully next year they'll be even lower, because unless the truck decides that it doesn't like me anymore and really takes it down. But the truck has cost me 20 grand for the last 2 years. And so these people that are buying these 500,000 mile trucks for 100 grand, you're flirting with some high expenses, because after 500,000 miles is when these trucks really nickel and diming you. So imagine that 20 grand plus another 30 grand in payments. So if you have a $2,500 a month, 2,500 times 12 months, that's 30 grand. That's 30 grand that so imagine your truck repair and payments alone costing 50 grand a year. That potential is there. Now, I'm sure there's a few of you that work on your own truck, and that will help. I'm sure that, it won't nickel and dime you every year. But once you get past that 500,000 mile, that's when you start losing turbos. That's when you start losing. Hell, I had to replace all my rear spring hangers this year. I had to replace the rear. The first year I had the truck, I had to replace the clutch, because it was a prime truck, and some trainee probably went grind, 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 I only haul lows that go in the same direction. That's funny. Did I take a PPP loan? No, I did not. So I did take, however, an idle loan, EIDL, and it was only a small one. It was only for $10,000, and I have every single penny of it still. I did not use it. I did not rely on it. It is my rice and beans in the cabinet just in case crap hits the fan. But when they start requesting payments for it, I will write a full check for it and say thanks for letting me use this peace of mind. Cash, one time I did a load from Springfield to Phoenix, Arizona. It was light, heading straight west on 40. And I couldn't get above 6 miles a gallon because of the wind. And that was in a 660 with 10,000 pounds. That's kind of funny. But then I got 30,000 pounds to come out. And man, I had a tailwind the whole time. Had way better fuel mileage. So, but anyways, guys, we've been at this for over an hour. If you have any questions, other questions, feel free. Again, I'm not giving my gross or net numbers. Sorry, Wallace, because that is not the important number for you. Because if I made a whole lot, it would look like I'm bragging. And if I didn't make enough to whatever people think I should be making, they will laugh at me. So why put that out there? So, and again, it does not tell you how well my business is going. So I will say that my profit per mile is doubled. So we'll tell you at least that. So compared to what I used to do. Yep, actually tripled. My profit per mile tripled from 2020 to 2021. That's per all mile. That's not just loaded mile. Ain't all about, and right, look, you're a business owner. And a lot of these carriers and people, and they want to entice you with those big gross numbers. Oh, we had a driver who made $300,000 this year. But what was his expenses? What did he net? What were his needs at home? Maybe he's got all the toys and needs $10,000 a month just to survive at home. So, there's but I do this every year. I might have missed last year though, but so how do you feel the year went overall for you? Good. I mean, there's some opportunity here at the company. I did not have a wreck or maim or kill anybody, so there's that, knock on wood. No out of services. I tripled my profit per mile. But the most important thing, here's the most important thing that money cannot buy. Well, it can help. Don't get me wrong, it can help.
But you kept your wife happy.
I kept her happy, see? That's the most important thing. I've had a really good balance of home time and business time. There were months like September where I really had to Really kind of had to buckle down and work. And then there were months that I had to take completely off, either because of the truck or because of what was going on at home. I had to help my mom move to New York, and that took like a month and a half to deal with all that. We lost a close friend, that kept me home for 2 weeks. I've never missed a graduation. I've never missed a kid's music concert. Been home for every holiday. And at the end of the day, I have money in the bank, and I was able to buy some new tools. I'm still going to buy one more for my 50th birthday whenever it comes in. And still married half the battle, right? And look, I know a lot of people that didn't happen. A lot of people lose that balance at home. They got all this money, and at the end of the day, they got a worn out truck and a divorce, and that doesn't sit well either. I could do better this year. It was all a learning experience. This business is hard. I learn every day. Also, I'm old and don't run as hard as some guys do. John, look, let me give you some encouragement, okay? My first year as an operator was a disaster. I got a tax refund that year that said that I didn't make squat, right? So don't beat yourself up. Okay, your first year in any business, whether it's a record store or an ice cream stand or a truck, you're always going to take your licks. You're going to get beat to death, right? Pigtail, what do Centromatics do for you? They keep the tire wear to a minimum on the steers. And so far, so good. They've been evenly wearing. I haven't had any issues. Now, I did have pretty much the whole front end redone, so that's a big help. But it does help. I know people that swear by them, and so far, they've been good for me. Well, you good. I get it, man. Cool. Off top question I like to cap. Yeah, my oldest daughter, she gave me this. It's got dragons. This says something in Japanese. It probably says I'm an idiot in Japanese. We'll never know. I've never Googled it. So I'm good. I took a lot of time off, and the best thing I did was buy my own truck. Yes, good deal, Wallace. Good deal. Well, I'm proud of you, Snorelord. Congratulations on success. And Shannon, that's not why I did that. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's not why I'm doing this video. I want to do this video not to look what I did. It's been, this is what it's like to own a business. Having these reports, I'm telling you, man, those of you who think that doing your paperwork and your crunching your numbers and everything is stressful and you don't want to do it, this kind of honesty for yourself will bring you peace of mind. Believe it or not, because now you know exactly where you're at. It's like being in the forest without a compass. You could easily get lost. Having that compass, at least to know which direction to go, is half the battle. You still might be lost, but at least now you know what direction you're going in, right? That's the purpose of it. Absolutely, James Best. Pneumatic Brit says, good evening.
Hi, Brit.
Yep. John, you're still standing. It's a win. And you got a trailer this year, John. That's nothing to sneeze at. I got that one last year. I told my tax guy, really, what are you talking about? I'm fine. Now I have to learn what Centromatics are. Yeah, do some look, I encourage any if you want to run your numbers, Trucking Office is great, Trucking Pro is great. I have a code for Trucking Pro, Fogline software. I'll put it here. I still use it. That's what generated last year's report. If you do that, and If you do that, you'll get 10% off, and you get a trial run. So, oh, it won't let me do my own link. Oh, there it is. So, I got that one last year. I told my guy, really, what are you talking about? I'm fine. Oh, let me scroll down here. Beads do the same in tires, but need to be replaced every tire change. Right. And I have beads in the drives and in the trailer. So go Bengals. All right. Use your numbers to improve business plans. Yep. And look, when we bought a house last year, or the year before, actually, I was able to give them profit and loss right then and there. I printed it out, sent it to them, signed it, sent it to them. It was good to go. I do not want to know those numbers. I don't care. They change all the time. I do that all in my head. And look, there are some days when running your business is just surviving, right? Just surviving, breaking even. There's nothing wrong with breaking even, right? Breaking even, at least if all your bills are paid and you got everything covered, then that's a day of survival. It's there's nothing wrong with that. You're still making money, right? You're still making money. So, well, James Best and Wallace are going to go at it. I'm waiting until Fogline goes cloud based. Shannon, I would recommend Trucking Office then, because Ray's been on to that for a while, but I don't know if he's got the financial backing to do that. I know he's working on something, but if you want to start tracking your numbers now, I think Trucking Office is a good option. Jeff has a code. Jeff, if you're in here, put the code up there, and that'll help. The Fool's got jokes. I just looked at Fogline. Looks interesting and easy. John, the biggest difference with Fogline is you got to be on a computer. So if you got a laptop, look, I recommend, and here's the other thing. If you're doing everything from a laptop, get the number keypad. Don't get one of them small keyboards that the numbers are on top. You'll regret it. So there you go. Jeff put the code. So if you go Trucking Office, there's the code right there. Jeff put in the chat, I think that gives you 10% off for life. Is that what it is? Know your numbers, says Pigtail. There you go. I know where I am, even though most don't think so. And look, and that's the important part. You don't have to use the same stuff everybody else does, as long as you know where you're at. I know a lot of owner operators that don't even know where they're at, and they're one breakdown from losing everything, and they don't even realize it. 10% for life. There you go. Oops. I got that laptop with the number bag. Good deal. I'm probably going to get a new laptop this year, so that's another expense you can put on the expense list. So, anyways, I think that's it. If nobody else has any questions, I hope you enjoyed this live feed. If you made it this far, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new to this channel. Every year I try to do this because people need to know what it costs to run a truck. The gross and net numbers don't matter. That's the thing. Let's read Jeff here. There's a different software for every level of trucking. You can outgrow software. Right. And I use Trucking Pro. I used Fogline for 4 years. And then I just now went to Trucking Office because here's the thing. Jeff was like, hey, Steve, if you're going to start doing data entry, you need to learn Trucking Office because that's what I use for the carrier. I'm like, all right, cool. So I decided January 1st last year to start, or 2021, I started using it. Well, of course, Jeff switches software because he found something that works better. So, but once you learn Trucking Office or Trucking Pro, one of those two, it helps you learn how to put everything in. And there's more to it. So if you have your own authority, I cannot imagine using Fogline for your own authority. That's not a mark against Ray. Ray is a great dude. Fogline is meant for the contractor. Trucking Office you can use as a contractor or your own authority, and then Axis is the next level that Jeff is at now. So. Shannon, what did Shannon ask? How do you guys get your laptop online in the truck? Shannon, you can either hotspot it from your phone or buy a separate, it's usually $20 or $30 a month if you buy an actual Wi-Fi hotspot. You just got to be careful on the limit. I would see if you can get unlimited, if not a 30 gig limit. You'll have to ask Pale Rider what he does, because I know that he streams a lot of YouTube from his laptop. And so I don't know what his plan consists of. So Pale Rider would be a good one to ask about that, what he pays. I try my laptop doesn't detect them. I probably need a new laptop. Yeah, I'm not a tech person, but yeah, TMS style is almost universal. That's right. Just Trucking got in a jam. I don't follow Just Trucking. Nothing against the guy. I just don't subscribe to him. So, but anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to put Jeff's code up there one more time for Trucking Office, because he's done that for me for Trucking Pro. And I think that eventually I'm going to get the full-blown version of StreamYard, so we can do a lot more with it. I plan on doing some interviews in the future that aren't live feeds. Always learning. 30 gigs a month. I'm sure you meant 30 gigs, not megabytes. Plan does me just fine. So he went overseas. Oh, wow. I know a friend of mine, I think Dooner's thinking about going to Alaska. So that'll be interesting if he documents that on YouTube. So
Yeah.
Monday Night Football, root for something else. I don't get Monday Night Football. I'm poor. So all right, guys, that's it. This live feed's gone long enough. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I hope those numbers help you if you haven't made the decision. And we'll get Cascade in here. Is Trucking Office and Truck Pro by the same company? No. Trucking Office is cloud-based. I forget who's the owner of that is. And Trucking Pro is owned by a guy named Ray White, who is ex-Landstar. And he did so well with his software that he was able to get off the road. And he is... And it's amazing. I didn't hear about Fogline until I left Landstar. So... But anyways, hit the like button on the way out. I hope you guys are having a good night. Stay warm. So I think they even got snow in Alabama and Mississippi and all that crap. So you guys are like, what? Stay warm, stay safe. Don't get involved in these pileups. Turn your CB radio on. And, do what you can do. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it.